All right, thank you. Oh, okay, sounds pretty good. Everybody can hear me? All right, no, I hate speaking through a microphone, so this one isn't too bad. But thank you for having us today. Thank you for attending. We wanted to go through some security information, some of the latest that we've got coming out on our new generation of products this summer, as well as we've got some interactive stuff that I'm going to tell you right now, y'all are guinea pigs. We're going to see if this works, because in the products that we've got coming out and some of the series that we are selling, there's just some great features, and just from a design perspective, we've really made strides in, especially our SMB, like entry type products. And we're going to see how well you guys can kind of get through some of that stuff and see if you can tell one from the other. But we're here to talk about, first off, security. So security is getting to be more and more of something that customers need to be aware of. How do I protect my products? There's rising, threats, and it's not just malware, things coming through your OS and everything like that these days. People that are trying to attack your products, they're going for the firmware, they're going for the BIOS. Once they get in that, they control your system. So there's just, things that are coming through that are a lot that we haven't seen yet in products. And the destructive nature of these things, ransomware attacks are on the rise. So completely taking control of your endpoint products and locking them up, and you're not getting them back unless you pay something. So that's on the rise. And then there's over 350 new malware varieties of attacks and things being developed every single day. So, it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on in there. And the more and more you look at security and the more and more we see in the news, it's kind of a scary world in the sense that, once this gets in, they can, completely shut you down. And you don't want to make the headlines, right? You don't want your customers to make the headlines or anything like that with some kind of a security breach. So it's really, really important. I'm going to kick off a video here that highlights our overall security story, and hopefully some of you have seen this. It's a series of, let me see here, videos called The Fixer. That's kind of as loud as it gets.
HP Elite PCs, the world's most secure and manageable PCs. HP Elite PCs, the world's most secure and manageable PCs. Protect, detect, and recover with HP hardware and Force Security Solutions.
I believe it is. It's called the Fixer videos.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
You can find them on our HP Sales Central. If you're familiar with that, we have an entire security portfolio, and you can find the series all the way from when Christian Slater started it, all the way up to the Enforcer now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep, and on YouTube. But that's probably the quickest. That HP/go/
Yeah. It's a good video, yeah. It really summarizes everything in. And the key thing to walk away that is HP makes the most secure and manageable PCs. There's nothing on the market, even from our competitors, that match what we've got in our security suite. And this is hardware built in. It's not software based or anything like that. The fundamental piece of it is hardware based, okay? So how we look at this, we look at it from different ways. We've got a lot of what we call below the OS. Okay, things in the firmware and the BIOS on the systems that are built in hardware-wise. We've got solutions in the OS, okay? And we'll talk about that real quick. And then above the BIOS as well. The latest thing that we've got is HP SureSense. If you haven't read, and we'll talk about that one because we call this a whole security suite of Sure Suite. So you've got these 4 things plus others in that last slide that I just talked about. But SureSense is our newest one. We'll touch on that one in a second. But that's the latest into this, and it's really incredible. So when we talk about SureView, a real quick shout out is that it's a privacy screen built into our laptops. You have to select it, but in F2 you can press F2, and you've got it integrated into it. You don't have to put a screen up or anything like that, and that comes up. And we've got that across even in some of our non-elite products. And then HP SureStart. So HP SureStart is as soon as you turn on your system, it checks against the BIOS to make sure, and it constantly checks actually, that nothing has attacked the firmware in the BIOS, because there's a chip on the board that basically has a secure, cryptographically, monitored BIOS firmware on the board. So if anything's trying to attack the firmware, that thing is always working and keeps it from attacking, essentially. And it goes back and it puts back to the main firmware BIOS that's supposed to be on that machine. So SureStart keeps you up and running. SureRun is a software solution in the OS. So when you've got a malware attack that tries to turn off some of your policies, maybe some of your Windows policies, some of your antivirus, this will automatically check against the policies and put that back in place and actually notify you as well. Okay, that something has been attacked. You can see the log of it, and it will keep all your policies up and running. And then SureRecover. SureRecover is basically it's a kind of like a restore CD. You're able to go out and restore your product without even having to have IT intervention or anything like that. We've got a couple of solutions with that. One's where you're wired and you're able to go to the hp.com site or to wherever your company or your customer's company is keeping their main image, and they're able to reload that image without any IT intervention. And now we're coming out with a solution that's actually embedded onto, so if you're working, like for me, I work from home, I'm wireless, I don't have an RJ45 to connect to, you can get a system where that's actually embedded onto your notebook and be able to recover. So that's available. All these things are available, except for the SureView, of course, but in our elite products of notebooks and desktops. Okay? Yes, sir?
What generation of products will have these capabilities?
Anything from 7th gen and above of our notebooks and desktops.
So when you say 7th gen, you have Intel 7th gen?
Yes, yeah. In the elite line. There's some aspects of this, and we'll talk about it, but you can get SureStart on like a 400 series product so that it's automatically checking. So there's some of these security features sprinkled out, but you're going to get the full load of all of this on our elite products. So SureSense. SureSense is our latest thing. So basically what that is it is AI learning on steroids. Okay, this thing, we've worked with a company, we were able to actually detect what they call zero-day attacks, where it's malware and viruses out there that haven't even been seen today. The way the software works, it's an agent on your system, but it automatically is working and being able to detect this stuff even if it's not already been out in the market. And it's based on AI, but I'll talk about that in a sec. But it recognizes malware instinctively 99% of the time, effective against known and unknown viruses that are out there. It does it really fast, like 20 milliseconds. I mean, we've got videos and demos of it, and it does not take any time for it to go and scan and make sure that everything is working. And then people always ask, well, what kind of load does that actually put onto my system? It only takes CPU load of 1% to be able to do this. So you don't even see that it's working, and it's constantly working in the background, and it won't affect anything in terms of performance. So we think about it this way. You've got your legacy antivirus, your Nortons, and some of great products to help catch that. But what it basically does is it looks, we like to do this kind of analogy. Say you're a bouncer at a bar. I'm not a bouncer at a bar, but you have a list, you see a line, and you've got a list of names. And everybody on that thing has, you've got a handful of that have caused problems in the past. You're not going to let them in. That's what traditional kind of antivirus does. And then you've got a little bit more sophisticated antivirus where it's based on AI learning. Okay, so that person is standing in line, or you've got a big line, you've got those known names, but then you see a person that's sitting there with a trench coat and it's sunny out. So that seems unusual. So the bouncer can say, I'm not going to let that person into the bar either, because that doesn't look normal to me. So a little bit more sophisticated in the AI sense. But then we go into deep learning, which what SureSense is based on. SureSense is able to take a lot of things. So that bouncer has years and years of experience, okay, let's say. They're able to detect both known and unknown stuff. And then they're also, because he's been doing it so long, or she, that they're able to actually figure out that doesn't look right. So that's on their own instincts, are able to isolate and say, maybe I'll, put you to the side, not going to let you in, need to talk to you and everything like that, and protect the bar, from somebody going in. So it's that kind of idea with deep learning. Anything, Amy? That's probably the main thing in terms of AI. Did I catch her with something in her mouth?
No, that's good. That's probably the big overview of what it does. And it takes, you already said it's like all the bouncers talking to each other at the same time, basically, right? It's not going to just learn. It's going to learn over time. Hey, somewhere in Japan, we notified that there was this one virus. Let's flag it, even though it's not over here yet, so that they already know.
Yeah.
These short products independent of each other. If you use one of them,
Yeah.
you move the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. They all work in different ways, and again, it's kind of the hardware built in, the OS, and then with even multi-factor authentication and stuff like that above the OS, getting into the product and stuff like that. So different layers. So there to protect your device, your identity, and the information on your systems. Yeah.
Did you say that this stuff, the AI stuff, is hardware-based, or it's in the OS?
It's an agent. So it's on. It sits in the OS. It's going to be coming out this summer on all of our new products. Okay, HP SureSense on all the products. But it's 100% attached. It's in the OS, but it's working constantly, and then as well keeping out with all the other hardware-based stuff in the notebooks and the desktops to work against any other kind of attacks and everything.
When the OS is corrupted, I just don't know how that plays out. So like rootkits and stuff like that, they get into drivers and things that are actually below the OS level, right?
Well, and that's where SureStart comes into play. So SureStart will check if any kind of rootkits try to get in. Everything in SureStart in that biosphere, what we call it biosphere, it's an endpoint security chip that's on the board, will check against that kind of stuff and keep you up and running.
And then it reboots the computer with a new copy of the BIOS instead of the affected copy, so you wiped it. We are the only ones
I'm
that
not talking about a BIOS attack, I'm talking about an OS attack.
Right, but if you get your OS to boot up, then you can start the computer.
Yeah, it will.
A fresh copy of the OS.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What if you got the hardware failure? You got to replace the hard drive.
So that's where the Sure Recover comes into place. Anything that you do from a recovery standpoint, you're going to always want to do, number one, a backup on your systems. Don't ever not, back up, whether it's in the cloud or on an external drive or something like that. But Sure Recover will actually let you recover the image and recover your hard drive. It might not recover every single file that you've had on it. Hopefully those are backed up, but you won't be stuck with a brick, a completely down machine. When you're able to, it's like using a OS restore CD and stuff like that. It'll get your system back up and running.
So you need to go to the cloud to do the restore. So you put in a new hard drive and you boot from it. You got to boot up the OS to get to the cloud. You got to have the drivers for the NIC and everything. So how do you get to the cloud with a new hard drive and blank?
Your image and stuff like that, or your customers, you can either go to the HP, it's going to restore back to the image. If you have a custom image and it's stored, you can set it up so that it will go and ping and pull down all of those types of things for the image for your end customer. There's a couple different ways to do it. I highly suggest, and we've got papers. We have got some great solutions here, and in some of the papers that we've got, they've got all those answers to those types of things.
If you guys need some more in-depth stuff on this, swing by DHTC.
Yeah.
I've got some slide decks in your email address. I can pass them that out to you, and then we can engage a little bit more on a tactical level.
Yeah.
If you have more in-depth security questions.
Our entire security suite presentation is 3.5 hours long. We have a half an hour. Here. So as much as we want to dig as deep we can, it's a 3.5 hour presentation to tell you everything you need to know at down that level. Come talk to us all at the booth. We can all talk to you about this.
So basically, it's a fix of the
So it's going back to. We don't have time to get into the details and kind of the wording of it is, but it will go back and restore to your OS and can pull down, the image and the drivers and all that other kind of stuff if you've got that stored and you've got it pointed to. Yeah. Yes, sir.
But how do you do that with a completely down system? I mean, how do you get access to HP to download those things?
That's where, yeah. If it's completely down, if you just put in the RJ45, you're going to get your, I don't know exactly if it's completely down.
So
But it's not completely down.
We use HP Image Assistant. We use HP Sure Recover. It's a system that you can load on your own. So what happens is you will load your custom image if you want a custom image. If you don't have a custom image and you want to use HP's image, that's fine. That computer's going to load it on its own, and it's going to boot up there, and then you'll be able to have your OS, and then you can get to the internet and be able to post things and pull down your own stuff. I'm really sorry. Please stop at the booth. We really have 10 minutes left, and we have like 20 slides left to go. We still have all the hands-on stuff, so I know these are great questions, but please just stop by the booth, and we'll talk to you guys about these in depth, okay?
Real quick.
I just had a real quick question. Is this a plan to replace like a traditional endpoint security like ESET, like Symantec, or going to be work like?
So it complements those types of things because they're kind of Symantec, they're kind of in those first two pillars where it's kind of known viruses. The SureSense has deep learning and it learns on itself just over and over and over again. So it actually builds its own kind of base of known and unknown. So it would complement some of those things, but it goes even farther, and that's the beauty of it. Okay. So we wanted to get into real quick as well, a little bit around the portfolio of products and stuff like that. We've been making some great strides, and especially when it comes to SMB. On the notebook side, we go all the way from, this is over here, a 200 series to our Elite books. And in the 400 space, we sell a lot of these products. Okay, this is great design, number one. It's got Sure Start that's available in it, and then great price point. So that's where a lot of SMB customers start out when they're looking at our products. And then it reaches all the way up into the Elite. And with that, you get more and more of the security and manageability as you head into 400 series and above. The 800, 700 series and 800 series and the 1000 class of series all have all of this security stuff built in, soup to nuts. Okay. what we had wanted to do, and maybe, I don't know if we're gonna have enough time, but, and maybe I'll just grab it. The 400 series of product. And the other thing is, and I would encourage everybody, is that we've got all of our notebooks here, all the way from 400 series, okay, to an 800 series. From a design standpoint, we were going to have somebody come up and do, put these things in order type thing. Because what I want everybody to be able to see with some of this stuff, this is our newest 400 series product. Oopsie, I'll get those in a second. It is our newest 400 series of product, and this is our EliteBook 800 series of product. From an SMB perspective, hitting the 400 space and the design, the lightness, the features in it, just incredible. Sometimes you're not even able to tell the difference between a 400 series or an 800 series. The features are all above the things when we're talking about security and all of the, those types of features, but you're actually getting a product that looks and almost feels the same from a 400 class and getting the right price point to an 800 series that. So it depends. Again, you'd want to open up a conversation with everybody about what are they doing and what are they thinking about security these days, because that's where you can get great features and the look of it, but sell up the stack. So Amy, maybe we'll jump real quick to the desktop stuff with your thing, and then
Sounds good.
everybody
I
can
probably
come
don't
and take
need
a
the
look at these
microphone.
later.